So also from my side, welcome everybody to today's meeting, and thank you very much for the invitation. I would like to present our company and our tool called OCTOPUS.cloud SPLA Manager. And our vision is to simplify the whole process around this SPLA reporting. So let me start with the first question. Who has a SPLA contract? I think all, right? And who loves the SPLA licensing of it? Oh, nobody. So we have a lot of potential here. So very good. Okay. So OCTOPUS, maybe quick introduction. We founded the company in 2013. We were former Microsoft employees, and we were in. So Bruno, you can stand up quickly. He was a SAM engagement manager at Microsoft, and he managed a lot of SAM projects. And I was responsible for the SPLA business in 16 countries. And I told some of the people before, I had days where I received every day 400 new SPLA questions during my work at Microsoft. It was very frustrating, so we decided then to build the solution. At the moment, we have 10 employees distributed across Europe, and we have already customers in 20 countries. And the good thing is we understand the different point of view. So we know what Microsoft wants, we know what the service provider wants, and we know what the reseller wants, and so on. And we try to build a solution that everybody can profit out of it, so to say. Then, because of having a lot of customers in the US and Australia, we had to launch a worldwide support organization, and this is pretty new. So we have now also premium support where we offer installation and configuration support as well as troubleshooting. And troubleshooting is important because sometimes you face firewall issues or port problems and so on. So there is a support team available. So the challenges in SPLA is really to collect the inventory data. So we did an analysis before we started to develop the solution, and we checked really all available SAM tools, and none of them was so to say, it was not possible to scan all SPLA relevant information, so to say. Therefore, we decided then to build our own scanner. Then the second problem is to understand these complex licensing rules, because also Microsoft has the option to change these licensing rules on a monthly basis, and the service provider business is really growing fast, and they have to focus on their business, and they don't have time to keep track of this licensing stuff and so on. And if there's something changed, the adoption is very complicated, and then some of the products have different licensing options, so you have to calculate which licensing option is the best for me and so on to have the lowest cost, so to say. And yeah, that was very frustrating. And the funny thing is that Microsoft Ireland is really pushing hard the audits around the world. And yeah, there is a big frustration for this SPLA reporting stuff. We can really feel that in the market. So therefore, we built our solution called OCTOPUS SPLA Manager. It's built in 3 components. We have a scanner. The scanner is basically agentless, but it can be used as an agent as well. Then the second component is the SPLA reporter, which is, so to say, the front end, which you use on a daily basis. And you see the scanned data in it, and you can create the SPLA report. Then the third component, and from my perspective the most important one, is our SPLA Intelligence. This is a cloud service. So every time when Microsoft is updating the licensing rules, we are updating our intelligence to make sure that we know how to license this, how to find out which SKUs you have to report to your SPLA reseller. Or what we also do is we try to optimize also based on the price comparison and so on. So intelligence is a cloud service. So we built this intelligence really, I think we have a very good knowledge internally on SPLA, and first we build it by ourselves. Then we ask Microsoft if we have understand it correctly and so on. And as a third step, we are giving it to KPMG to check it if we did it correct way, so to say. The goal is really to make no mistakes in this licensing. So we are getting audited by ourselves from KPMG. Then what we do, as I mentioned before, we are really comparing the prices. So for example, a SQL Server can be licensed through user. The standard edition can be licensed through user or through core. And you can enter the prices of the licenses, and then we compare per each installation and check which one makes sense for you, so to say. Then what we also have is, in collaboration with Microsoft, we have built-in compliance analyzer. So for example, we asked Microsoft, Western Europe organization, they give us a list with the top 20 mistakes which service providers are doing, and we are really checking it. For example, if the internal usage is higher than 50%, or if an end customer has more than $1,000 SPLA report value, then it needs an end customer enrollment. Or if you install Office Professional Plus and Office Standard into one VM, and so on. So we have really checks built in the application, and if you would have one of these scenarios, then you will get an alert, and yeah, hopefully then you can fix it. That was the intelligence. The SPLA reporter, what the SPLA reporter is doing is, on one hand side, we are giving the Microsoft pure use rights and the SKU list into the application, and on the other hand side, the scanner is delivering the inventory data, and then we check how to license it, so to say, then create or analyze the SKUs, and then try to optimize it. This is what the front end is doing. Then the scanner, and this is the most interesting part, I think, for you, is an agentless. So I would say 95% of our customers are using the agentless version, because there are some difficulties with end customers. Some of them say, I am not allowed to install any application on end customer VMs and so on. So therefore, the preferred one is really the agentless, but it can be used as an agent as well. So you can decide. We have also some service providers, they have really black environments, and then they can give the scanner to the end customer, and the end customer can scan by themselves, because our pricing is not based on the number of agents or scanner or so. So what we do is we go through WMI to the server and ping it, and then we can scan single IPs, IP range, or entire domains. And everything is configured through a GUI. You can see it here. So what you do with an agentless solution is you have to enter a username and password. And a lot of customers, they create an admin user with only read rights to be able to scan, so to say. Then what you also can do is you can, let's say you are scanning an IP range, you can still exclude an IP range or an IP, or you can also include. And what is also special in our scanner is you can assign a customer to an IP. So let's say you are scanning an IP from 0 to, I don't know, 10, then you can say this is customer 1. Then from 11 to 20, this is customer 2, and so on. So you can do that for single IPs, for domains, or IP ranges. And with this, we know then in the SPLA reporter application which customer is using which server, and so on. Then, as I mentioned before, we have a multi-scanner possibility, so you can deploy as many scanners as you want, and I would say this is also the trend. So what service providers mostly are doing is they are installing a scanner per virtual network, so to say. Then, so every customer has his own scanner, and the scanning is then very easy, and you can then exactly say what is the customer using, and so on. Then we scan from System Center and from VMware vCenter, the data center, so the virtual data centers. You can find out the clusters there and the servers. And on the server, we scan the inventory data first, like CPUs and cores, and then find out which applications are installed on this VM. And then, based on the installed application, we have auto-detect function, like, for example, Exchange. Then we are scanning the Active Directory and the Exchange server directly and map the user information there, because we find directly from the Exchange server out which user has which feature enabled, for example. Or another example is SQL Server. For example, SQL Server can have local user and Active Directory user, so we are scanning both. We can say per database instance how many local users the database has, and so on. And yeah, that's basically it. And then, yeah, that's basically it. Important is, we went to KPMG and gave the solution in their test lab, and they scanned everything and built the SPLA report, so to say, and compared it with their consultant reports and so on. And then we received from them the worldwide first certification for a SPLA tool. This is very important. So we are not a SAM tool. We are really focusing on SPLA only. For example, in our software recognition service, we are filtering everything out what is not Microsoft. So we are really just taking care of SPLA licensing. I will tell that later. We have integrations to SAM tool, but our goal is not to be a SAM tool. Our goal is to be the perfect SPLA tool, so to say. Good. Then this is more the graphical overview. So we have one scanner or multiple scanner, and the scanner generates CSV files, and the CSV files are then imported into the SPLA reporter. And if you click Generate SPLA report, there is a quick connection with the intelligence, where we, so to say, give the intelligence only licensing metric information. So no username, no user, anything. So only, let's say, they have 15 Exchange user, or the number of servers and so on. Nothing personal, so to say. And build then the SPLA report. We have two editions. So these two bubbles here, the scanner and the CSV files, can be on-premise in your data center, so to say. And you can use our SPLA reporter from the OCTOPUS cloud. And we call this the standard edition. And yeah, or you can have all these three bubbles in your data center. And the only thing which is always a cloud service is our intelligence, because we have to maintain it and make sure that it's accurate and so on. What we also have is we have a RESTful API. So you can, I mean, the data is yours. We are doing nothing with the data. So you can access it, use it for billing systems, for other SAM tools, whatever you want to do with the data, you can do. So we have already customers, they are importing the data into CRM system or ERP systems. Then what we also have is sometimes Microsoft is doing these friendly reviews, and you can also export all the data. So, and we have an export especially for Microsoft friendly review. So it's, so to say, an out-of-the-box report that you can then send to Microsoft, and hopefully they accept it. Then, as I mentioned before, we have an integration to a SAM tool called Snow. I think, yeah, if somebody has a SAM tool, they will know it, who Snow is. And what we did there is, so the customer can have the Snow inventory solution. This inventory solution sends the data to the license manager, and this license manager is generating the CSV files we need that we can calculate the SPLA report. We are working on the optimization of this solution at the moment together with Snow. So the idea is really to skip this, and so that you can create then the report directly out of the Snow license manager. So this bubble will move here, and we will eliminate this too.
Actually, one of the SAM partners is using Snow
here
in Hungary.
Yeah, great. So then we can work with them together as well. All right. So I think now the most important part, pricing. So as I mentioned before, the standard edition, where you have the scanner on-premise and the cloud, the SPLA reporter in our cloud, we have three plans. One plan is from 1 to 100 asset, and an asset is for us a server. No user, no application, only the server. And if you are in this range, the price is $49 per month, and it includes the scanner and the SPLA reporter, and of course the intelligence. Then the plan B is from 100 to 200 asset, and it costs $149, and the plan C is from 200 to 350, and it costs $299. Then the installation and the setup of everything is really easy. So the GUI of the scanner is very easy, and the GUI of the report is also very easy. Normally, so with the smaller companies, we have everything up and running within 2 to 8 hours. It depends a little bit on the size and on your infrastructure, but yeah, the best case was 2 hours. and let's say the guys with maybe 350 is around 8 hours, where you have to configure, scan, check what came out, and maybe you have to fix your firewall or open ports and so on. So, but it's not weeks or so. Then, as I mentioned before, we have a premium support. That means you can have direct contact to our engineering team, and we respond within 24 hours. You can say, I know the scanner is not working, or I face some issues, and we really check directly on your environment. And the price of premium support is 15% of this, so it's not that expensive, I think. And the application is hosted in Germany in the Open Telecom Cloud. Generally, the whole solution is built with open source application, so there's no license needed for a SQL server or so it's really free. And yeah, the application is hosted in Germany and in the Open Telecom Cloud, and they have they are the most secure data center in Europe, they say. Also, for example, Microsoft Azure Germany instance is running there, so I think it's really a good data center and secure, so to say. Good. Then the dynamic edition, this is the edition where you can install everything on premise. Here is the pricing a little bit different. We have then here levels. Asset is still the same, a number of servers. And then we have a fixed fee and a per asset fee. So here, I would say the most of you will be here in this range. It's $270 fixed and then 75 cents per asset. And the installation here, it depends on the size. So we have to discuss that individually, I think. That's it. Do you have any questions? I am also here the whole day, so if somebody wants to have a one-to-one with us or would like to see the application and so on, just talk to me and we can give a quick demo or answer your questions. Yeah, important is also so that if you are really interested, then you can also talk to Kvazar. We will enter a partnership with Kvazar, and you can all purchase it through Kvazar as well. Do the monthly reporting through Kvazar.
Do you offer some trial possibilities?
Yes. So we have an evaluation agreement. So it's still an agreement which you have to sign, but you can then test everything for up to 3 months if you want.